Good evening. Time for dinner. We're on Deuteronomy 29. These are the words of the covenant which Jehovah commanded Moshe to make with the children of Israel in the land of Moab, besides the covenant which he made with them in Horeb. And Moshe called all Israel and said to them, You yourselves saw all that Jehovah did before your eyes in the land of Mizraim, to Pharaoh and to all his servants and to all his land. Your eyes saw the great trials, the signs, and those great wonders. But Jehovah has not given you a heart to know, and eyes to see, and ears to hear till this day. And I have led you 40 years in the wilderness. Your garments have not worn out on you, and your sandals have not worn out on your feet. You ate no bread and drank no wine nor strong drink, so that you might know that I am Jehovah your Elohim. And when you came to this place, Sihon, sovereign of Heshbon, and Og, sovereign of Bashan, came out against us to battle, and we struck them, and took their land and gave it as an inheritance to the Reubenites, and to the Gadites, and to half of the tribe of Manasseh. Therefore you shall guard the words of this covenant and do them, so that you prosper in all that you do. All of you are standing today before Jehovah your Elohim, your leaders, your tribes, your elders, and your officers, all the men of Israel, your little ones, your wives, and your sojourners, who is in the midst of your camp, from the one who cuts your wood to the one who draws your water, so that you should enter into covenant with Jehovah your Elohim, and into his oath which Jehovah your Elohim makes with you today, in order to establish you today as a people for himself, and he himself be your Elohim, as he has spoken to you, and as he has sworn to your fathers, to Abraham, to Yitzhak, and to Yaakov. And not with you alone, I am making this covenant and this oath, but with him who stands here with us today before Jehovah our Elohim, as well as with him who is not here with us today. Oh, that would be me. I wasn't there that day. For you know how we dwelt in the land of Mizraim, and how we passed through the nations which you passed through. And you saw their abominations and their idols, wood and stone, silver and gold, which were with them. Lest there should be among you a man or woman or clan or tribe, whose heart turns away today from Jehovah our Elohim, to go and serve the mighty ones of these nations, lest there should be among you a root-bearing bitterness or wormwood. And it shall be, when he hears the words of this curse, that he should bless himself in his heart, saying, I have peace, though I walk in the stubbornness of my heart, in order to add drunkenness to thirst. Jehovah would not forgive him, but rather the displeasure of Jehovah and his jealousy shall burn against that man, and every curse that is written in this book shall settle on him, and Jehovah shall blot out his name from under the heavens. And Jehovah shall separate him for evil out of the tribes of Israel, according to all the curses of the covenant that are written in this book of the Torah. And the generation to come of your children who rise up after you, and the foreigner who comes from a far land, shall say when they see the plagues of the land, and the sicknesses which Jehovah has sent unto it, all its land is sulfur, salt, and burning. It is not sown, nor does it bear, nor does any grass grow there. Like the overthrow of Sodom and Amorah, Admah, and Seboim, which Jehovah overthrew in the displeasure of his wrath. And all nations shall say, why has Jehovah done so to this land? Why does the heat of this great displeasure, what does the heat of this great displeasure mean? And it shall be said, because they have forsaken the covenant of Jehovah Elohim of their fathers, which he made with them when he brought them out of the land of Mizraim. And they went and served other mighty ones and bowed themselves to them, mighty ones they did not know, and that he had not given to them. Therefore the displeasure of Jehovah burned against this land, to bring on it every curse that is written in this book. And Jehovah uprooted them from their land in displeasure, and in wrath, and in great rage, and cast them into another land, as it is today. The secret matters belong to Jehovah our Elohim, but what is revealed belongs to us and to our children forever, to do all the words of this Torah. And it shall be, when all these words come upon you, the blessing and the curse which I have set before you, and you shall bring them back to your heart among all the nations where Jehovah your Elohim drives you, and shall turn back to Jehovah your Elohim and obey his voice, according to all that I command you today, with all your heart and with all your being, you and your children. Then Jehovah your Elohim shall turn back your captivity, and shall have compassion on you, and he shall turn back and gather you from the peoples where Jehovah your Elohim has scattered you. If any of you are driven out to the farthest parts under the heavens, from there Jehovah your Elohim does gather you, and from there he does take you. And Jehovah your Elohim shall bring you to the land which your fathers possessed, and you shall possess it. And he shall do good to you and increase you more than your fathers. And Jehovah your Elohim shall circumcise your heart and the heart of your seed, to love Jehovah your Elohim with all your heart and with all your being, so that you might live. And Jehovah your Elohim shall put all these curses on your enemies and on those who hate you, who persecuted you. And you shall turn back and obey the voice of Jehovah, and do all his commands which I commanded you today. And Jehovah your Elohim shall make you have excess in all the work of your hand, in the fruit of your body, and in the fruit of your livestock, and in the fruit of the ground for good. For Jehovah turns back to rejoice over you for good, as he rejoiced over your fathers. If you obey the voice of Jehovah your Elohim, to guard his commands and his laws which are written in this book of the Torah, if you turn back to Jehovah your Elohim with all your heart, with all your being, for this command which I am commanding you today, it is not too hard for you, nor is it far off. Jehovah himself said, this command which I am commanding you today, it is not too hard for you, and it is not far off. It is not in the heavens to say, who shall ascend into the heaven for us, and bring it down to us, and cause us to hear it, so that we do it. Nor is it beyond the sea to say, who shall go over to the sea for us, and bring it to us, and cause us to hear it, so that we do it. For the word is very near you, in your mouth and in your heart, to do it. See, I have set before you today life and good, and death and evil, and that I am commanding you today to love Jehovah your Elohim, to walk in his ways, to guard his commands and his laws and his right rulings. And you shall live and increase, and Jehovah your Elohim shall bless you. in the land which you go to possess. But if your heart turns away, and you do not obey, and shall be drawn away, and shall bow down to other mighty ones, and serve them, I have declared to you today that you shall certainly perish. You shall not prolong your days in the land which you are passing over the Jordan to enter and possess. I have called the heavens and the earth as witnesses today against you. I have set before you life and death, the blessing and the curse. Therefore you shall choose life, so that you live, both you and your seed. To love Jehovah your Elohim, to obey his voice, and to cling to him. For he is your life and the length of your days, to dwell in the land which Jehovah swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Yitzhak, and to Yaakov, to give them. And Moshe went and spoke these words to all Israel. And he said to them, I am 120 years old today. I am no longer able to go out and come in. And Jehovah has said to me, you do not pass over this Jordan. Jehovah your Elohim himself is passing over before you. He shall destroy these nations from you, and you possess them. Yehoshua himself is passing over before you, as Jehovah has spoken. And Jehovah shall do to them as he did to Sihon and to Og, the sovereigns of the Amorites, and their land, when he destroyed them. And Jehovah shall give them over to you, and you shall do to them according to all the command which I have commanded you. Be strong and courageous. Do not fear, nor be afraid of them. For it is Jehovah your Elohim who is going with you. He does not fail you nor forsake you. And Moshe called Yehoshua and said to him, before the eyes of all Israel, be strong and courageous, for you are going with this people to the land which Jehovah has sworn to their fathers to give them, and you are to let them inherit it. And it is Jehovah who is going before you. He himself is with you. He does not fail you nor forsake you. Do not fear nor be discouraged. And Moshe wrote this Torah and gave it to the priests, the sons of Levi, who bore the ark of the covenant of Jehovah, and to all the elders of Israel. And Moshe commanded them, saying, at the end of 7 years, at the appointed time, the year of release at the festival of Sukkot, when all Yisrael comes to appear before Jehovah your Elohim in the place which he chooses, read this Torah before all Yisrael in their hearing. Assemble the people, the men and the women and the little ones, and your sojourner who is within your gates, so that they bear and so that they learn to fear Jehovah your Elohim, to guard to do all the words of this Torah. And their children who have not known it should hear and learn to fear Jehovah your Elohim, as long as you live in the land you are passing over the Jordan to possess. And Jehovah said to Moshe, see, the days are drawn near for you to die. Call Yehoshua and present yourself in the tent of appointment, so that I command him. And Moshe and Yehoshua went, presented themselves in the tent of appointment. And Jehovah appeared at the tent in the column of a cloud, and the column of a cloud stood over the door of the tent. And Jehovah said to Moshe, see, you are about to sleep with your fathers, and this people shall rise and whore after the mighty ones of the strangers of the land into the midst of which they shall enter, and forsake me and break my covenant which I have made with them. Then my displeasure shall burn against them in that day, and I shall forsake them and hide my face from them, and they shall be consumed. And many evils and distresses shall come upon them. And it shall be said in that day, it is not because our Elohim is not in the midst that these evils have come upon us. And I shall certainly hide my face in that day, because all that all the evil which they have done, for they shall turn to other mighty ones. And now write down this song for yourself and teach it to the children of Israel. Put it in their mouths, so that this song is to me for a witness against the children of Israel. And I shall bring them to the land flowing with milk and honey, of which I swore to their fathers, and they shall eat and be satisfied and be fat. Then they shall turn to other mighty ones, and they shall serve them and scorn me and break my covenant. And it shall be, when many evils and distresses come upon them, that this song shall answer before them as a witness. For it is not to be forgotten in the mouths of their seed, for I know their thoughts which they are forming today, even before I bring them to the land of which I swore to give them. And Moshe wrote this song the same day and taught it to the children of Israel. And he commanded Yehoshua, son of Nun, and said, Be strong and courageous, for you are to bring the children of Israel into the land which I swore to them, and I myself am with you. And it came to be, when Moshe had completed writing the words of this Torah in a book until their completion, that Moshe commanded the Levites who bore the ark of the covenant of Jehovah, saying, Take this book of the Torah, and you shall place it beside the ark of the covenant, and Jehovah your Elohim, and it shall be there as a witness against you. For I myself know your rebellion and your stiff neck. See, while I am still alive with you today, you have been rebellious against Jehovah. Then how much more after my death? Assemble unto me all the elders of your tribes and your officers, so that I speak these words in their hearing, and call the heavens and the earth to witness against them. For I know that after my death you shall do very corruptly, and turn aside from the way which I have commanded you. And evil shall come to you in the latter days, because you do what is evil in the eyes of Jehovah, to provoke him through the work of your hands. So Moshe, in the hearing of all the assembly of Israel, the words of this song till their completion. And we will read that at our next intercession.